In your follow-up to Virginia,
Yeah.
what are some of the smoking guns you could say that's in that doc that'll come out that you're most excited for people to see?
First time in history of the phenomenon that we have firsthand eyewitness testimony of direct communication with a captured alien in custody. And it just so happens it's the guy that's the neurosurgeon at the lead hospital where this thing was dropped off. So you have all this like other sightings, transport, all the stuff that's going on that all leads to the hospital. And now we have the lead, the guy that ran all three, the head of all three, neurosurgeon, head of all three hospitals.
And did he do an autopsy?
No. There was alive. The being was alive.
And he did an examination.
His partner did the examination. He just sat in the room with it for about 3 or 4 minutes, face to face, before the military burst in and took it.
Did he describe communication?
Yes.
Telepathic?
Yes.
Did he just disclose what was said?
A little bit, yeah. He talked about the fact that it despite it being that the eyes, all the communication happened with the eyes, that it was an extremely advanced intelligence, far more advanced from anything on Earth, and that it could read everything in his mind, not in a bad way, but that even though it was in captivity, it had full control of the room.
Typical gray.
No, it was, the people that encountered the creature on the outside, it had brown, oily skin. It was suffering in the heat and big red eyes, little, I don't want to call them horns, like little lump protrudences on the head here, spindly arms, spindly legs, relatively feeble, bigger head, big eyes, slit for mouth. I don't know about the nose. No, I don't think any ears, or maybe holes for ears.
The smell?
Yes, I mean, the outside, I think the outside, but I didn't hear the smell when it was in captivity. I don't know if that was a reaction to the heat or being scared or some sort of mechanism. I really don't know. It's all speculation because, when it was outside and it was scared and it was really hot, like the girls that came within 10 feet of it, all three of these girls, Katya, Liliana, and Valkyria, all said that it was cowering. It was frightened. It was feeble. It was suffering, and it wanted help. Yeah. And it was brown and it had that odor.
Wow.
But and then we heard it from a number of other doctors as well. But it's a long story, but there's like there was sightings, there was capture, there's military blockades, there's crash sites, there's it's a big story, and there are a lot of moving pieces and a lot of different people involved.
Wow.
It's a really good case. In fact, I think it's the best. In fact, most people within the community will say this is the definitive case. This is probably the case that's gonna prove that UAP, we're dealing with a non-human intelligence.
Now, how much pressure was on this neurosurgeon to not speak?
It's a good question. I think there are a number of factors that play into that. For starters, he's working on people's brains. He's representing the hospital. There's pressure from the military, I was told, on just about everybody to keep quiet about it.
Like he was spoken.
But it's not a career enhancement move. I don't know. I'd have to find out if it was just to the whole hospital staff or him directly. I don't know. But yeah, those issues are addressed. And everybody, 99.9% of the people, whether they're civilian, fire, military, or just witnesses, like for instance, the girls that came into contact, the Men in Black showed up at their house. So in fact, that was one of the first all in on Men in Black reporting that I decided to go with.
Mm-hmm.
And that's in Moment of Contact, the first version. The mother of the girls was like, yeah, then these men in suits showed up and they were really intimidating. I'm like, oh my God, here they are again. And they really tried to offer them money, get your daughters to say they were lying, get them to say, and she's like, my daughters are not liars. I'm not going to do it. You can take this briefcase of money, you can leave and go to live somewhere else, your life out. And the mother refused to do that. And they were quite adamant. They were quite insistent, put a lot of pressure on her. And they were poking around with other witnesses and getting them to, this meeting never happened. We were never here, like that kind of thing. Yeah. So it's a really great case. And what makes it such a great case, there's so many people involved, and it's recent enough where the vast majority of people are still alive.
Right.
And they're of the retirement age, which makes a big incentive, less to lose for people to come forward.
Right. Now, they described it as the devil.
Well, the girls did. Well, they didn't know. It had red eyes and it stank, right?
Right.
You can understand
their
highly religious.
perspective. Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I got military folks that said, that were directly involved with the government UAP program. They were bringing direct evidence of craft unknown origin, and they were told, "Oh, that's devil activity. I don't want to get it away from me." Yeah, people within the government, people within the Air Force. Harry Reid told me that too.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's a very right wing, highly religious. This is all the devil. Get it away from me. Yeah, and Harry Reid said he couldn't even get people. Sorry, he couldn't even get people to look at the evidence. They were like, "It's demonic."
Interesting.
So
I mean,
I
I
don't know.
get that. I grew up religious, and this
Yeah.
is what my mom would describe it as. So I
Yeah.
understand.
Oh, it's a big universe, and there's a lot going on.
Do you think there's multiple competing alien races?
I have no idea. I
'Cause
really
this
don't.
doesn't
I
look
can tell
like-
you that different people see different things. That's an okay depiction. That's an okay depiction.
But it doesn't
That
look
one
like
looks more evil.
a typical gray, right?
No,
Grays
it
have
doesn't like a typical gray. I mean, the only thing that the big eyes, the communication through the eyes, the spindly body, that I'm told right there on the right. Yeah, that one. That was done by a woman named Betty Rodriguez. And that was based on firsthand eyewitnesses. She worked directly with the 3 girls that came within 10 feet of it. And that was done in 1996. And apparently that's a really good depiction of what it looked like.
So the fact that it doesn't look like a typical gray would lead one to believe like there's competing forces, something. I mean, one
People
thing.
see different things. I mean, if you look at what Travis Walton reported, he had spindly little gray objects, but also beings that look like us.
Yeah, the Nordics is always an interesting one. Why Nordics?
I have no idea.
You've heard people
course.
describe this
Yeah.
firsthand.
Yeah.
I find that to be the most unique, sort of strange thing. That's like, yeah, aliens, also Swiss or Swedish, and it's like, what?
I
Like,
know,
yeah,
I know.
blonde hair,
it's-
blue eyes.
We're getting into speculation at this point. I don't know.
Yeah,
I really don't. I don't know what the hell's going on. I'd like to know what's going on, and I'm coming to the point in my career where I'm probably not going to know what's going on. It's real. The phenomenon is real, and they're here,
Mhm.
and they're intelligent, and they probably have an agenda, and they're probably different races. I'm just guessing. I don't know.
If you had to say more or less peaceful or not peaceful,
It's a good question. Yes, I would say if they were here to do us harm, we would have known it. But I did talk to a number of very high level people, very high level, and I said, I've heard that the bigger picture, not the big picture, because I don't think anybody has the big picture, but the bigger picture, I heard it's a little scary. And a couple of them were like, yeah, I could see that. So I said, well, poking a little further, like, scary how? Like, intent. Okay, so what? Their intentions are to harm us? No, just the intent. And that's as far as I got. And it's an ongoing, I'm going to meet with those individuals and see if I can pry a little more out of them. But I got to know them a little bit to get trust. And
right? Now, so much of your career has been journalistic and sort of recounting other people's stories.
Yeah.
Do you think at a certain point in your career you will put together more or less your thesis, your worldview? Do you
I
feel
don't
like
have one.
Do you feel like you have any type of construct of more or less, these things are coming from a different planet? Or are they interdimensional?
I don't know.
Multiverse?
I don't.
Humans from the past that have evolved in advanced consciousness?
Could be all of the above. I just
Multiple different things happening simultaneously?
I just don't know. The more I learn, the more I don't know, and the more confused I am. It's real. They're here. I put my life on it. But what their agenda is, what their origins are, I haven't got a clue. I really don't.
Using humans as slaves to mine our earth for precious materials?
I think that anybody out there saying they know what's going on doesn't know what's going on. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. But the one thing that I did determine over the years, and this is based on countless stories that I've heard, if they wanted to reveal themselves openly, they would just hover over the Macy's Day Parade and it would be game over. But they don't do that.